many output variables which you want to split out from your build. This is where you split out your output variables from your build. That's pretty much about your build solution. Test assemblies. What is this? It will go ahead and help me build my test cases. Not only build the test cases, run my test cases. Not only run it, it will also generate a coverage report. The build coverage report of how many lines of code or how many blocks of code has been covered. I hope you already know the coverage report inside the testing environment. I can get the percentage of coverage which has been done in my project. Depending upon the percentage of coverage, we will go ahead and take particular action. The usual figure which is acceptable is 70 to 80%. That is what is the coverage which is expected from any project which is in production. 70 to 80% of the code has to be having code coverage enabled or code coverage done. So that is what is the accepted number when you're working with .NET environment, 70 to 80%. So you would be having what am I saying here? Take the latest version. Display name, you can edit your display name here. So I can say whatever I want. I'll leave it as is. That is why it is still test assemblies. Then you can select test using what is it that you can use when you are selecting test. You can use it with test assemblies, or there are other options. Test plan. What is test plan? That's what is this. I can have my test plans configured, and I can point to my test plans in my in my test build step. This is where I'll point to it in my test plan, or I can go ahead and point to the test run. So these two options are advanced options, wherein I can point to test plan or a test run. The regular thing, what we do is usually we will be pointing to the test assemblies. Whatever are the test assemblies which are present in my project, go ahead and run all those test assemblies. What do you mean by test assembly? So here is where it is getting the clue. Any DLL which has test in it, it begins with something and it ends with something, but it has test keyword in it. Then consider that as a test assembly and go ahead and execute that assembly. That is what I'm saying in that one line of code. So I'm saying go ahead and build my test assembly. My test assemblies, among all the assemblies, what are all the assemblies? It will have a, in the build staging folder, it would have a bin folder. Look at the number of assemblies which are generated. So what are the assemblies that are pointing to test or the test cases? That is what I'm giving a clue to it. Any DLL which has test in it, and it can have anything in the front, anything in the back. But if it has test in it, then go ahead and execute that assembly as a test assembly. And what should you ignore? Ignore the object folder. I'm saying not there. So ignore the object folder. These are by default given to me. I hardly touch this configuration. And where should you search? You should search in the default directory. If you are pointing to your own shared location, you need to change this also. Because in this step, just give me a minute. Yeah, tell me. Yeah, Rashmi.
Yeah, um, I have the test scripts. So I have few selenium test cases. So how can I retrieve or execute here? in test and I need to configure, or in source code only I need to, from source code only I need to get it allowed.
You can configure it from here, but it requires some more tasks to be added. This test assembly is not a Selenium test case. It is a unit test case, which I am pointing to here. It's not a Selenium test case. Selenium test case task is something else. So you need to create another task. You need to go ahead and search for it. Search for Visual Studio Test. That is what would help you even work with Selenium test. It should have something here. Yeah, you see that there? Selenium, Appium, coded UI, test cases, etc. For all your other test cases, you would be having Visual Studio Test, which also helps you MS test. But this task, what I have created here, is for unit test cases. You will create another task for your Selenium test cases, and you would point to that Selenium test cases DLL, and it would go ahead and build those things also. But you need drivers. If you are familiar with Selenium test cases, you need drivers like your web driver, wherein you can go ahead and build your code and execute all your Selenium test cases inside using that driver. So it could take time. In a regular project, how many Selenium test cases would be there? Something around 50 to 100 approximately. Will that take more time or less time? How much time will that take? It will take more time or less time?
Yeah, it will take maximum 1 hour.
That's right. So you tell me, my CI/CD pipeline, should it be fast or if it is taking 1 hour, is that efficient CI/CD pipeline? It's not an efficient CI/CD pipeline. I can integrate,
Yes.
but Selenium test cases would hamper my CI/CD pipeline. My CI/CD pipeline should do tasks which are quick. Unit test case execution is pretty quick. Selenium test case execution is pretty heavy. What I will do, I will execute separately. I will not have it as a CI/CD pipeline uh, uh, environment inside my CI/CD pipeline environment. What will I do? I will create another build repo, another build file, and I will execute it weekly. Does that make sense? Weekly or 2 days once. I will execute it separately. I will manually go ahead and execute it and see if everything is going fine. Just execute, forget about it for an hour. After an hour, I'll go ahead and see the report. So I will build it, I will have a separate build file for it and execute it separately. If I integrate it with CI/CD, my simple bug, which is just one line of code, if I check in that bug, then it has to execute all the Selenium test cases, which will take 1 hour, which is pretty inefficient. Your build CI/CD should not take more than 2 to 5 minutes. That is the maximum it can take. 5 minutes also is not acceptable, but that is what is the maximum it can do. I cannot have Selenium test cases integrated within CI/CD. I'll maintain it separately. Got the answer?
But Abdul, if without the test case integration, how we come to know the exit build is successful?
Essentially, essentially, um, there would not be two. I would go with the assumption that I have good software engineers, and I would not have the Selenium test cases integrated within CI/CD. I will maintain it separately, and I will execute it every 2 3 days. I think my software engineers will not break code so often. So I will trust them, and I will only execute Selenium test cases every 2 days once or 3 days once. That is where I will find that one of the guys has broken the code, and I will trigger a mail to him and ask him to fix it. But if I have it integrated within this pipeline, I would hamper the performance, and it is not recommended. You can have it. Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio Azure DevOps will allow you to have it, but I have never seen it in a real-time scenario that we will integrate that within CI/CD pipeline. We will not integrate it within CI/CD pipeline. I've never seen that integrated. But to answer your question, can we integrate it? Yeah, you go ahead and integrate it. If your team likes it, you can maintain it that way. Not an issue.
So you are telling me that for every 2 days we can execute these test cases separately.
Correct. We should execute every 2 days once separately. You can have
So
automated.
in that case, today so few changes are came. So I need to deploy the changes into QR, UTR, whatever live. So
Okay. In that case, okay. In that case, if you are having a important deployment which has to go to QA or staging or some testing needs to be done and it needs to go to production fast, then you would execute it immediately. Even though it takes 1 hour, you are fine with that 1 hour. I am speaking about regular CI/CD. I am not speaking about this exception scenario. This exception scenario, I will execute it. It will take 1 hour or 2 hours because my code is going to production. I am speaking about in a sprint. The sprint is for 3 weeks. Daily, 10 developers are checking in code. I will not have it within CI/CD pipeline because it will slow down. I will have it separately. But if this is the scenario, what you just are speaking, if I want to deploy it in QA or staging and then take it to production, then I will run all my Selenium test cases for all of my check-ins for the next 2 days. So what will I do? I will maintain two files, two build configurations. I am building one build configuration, right? So for your kind of a scenario, I will maintain two build configurations. One configuration without Selenium, one configuration doing everything the same with Selenium. And whenever I have a requirement like this, and I just have two P1 or let us say 10 P1 fixes for priority one fixes, which have to be going in for the next within the next 5 days. So 5 days is the time. What will I do? I will ignore this guy, the without Selenium, and I will configure my CI/CD pipeline to use this build file, so that I am aggressive. Let it take time, but I will be aggressive and I will use this build configuration file for the next 5 days because I want to go to production very fast. I don't have a sprint. I have priority one bugs which have been reported from the client end. Then I will go ahead and ignore this simple configuration file, build configuration, and I will point from this build configuration. So that is what I'll do if that is the case. So I'm not speaking about exception scenarios. I'm speaking about day to day. You will not have it. Exception scenarios, yeah, you will have it. You will take the pain. Got it?
So in this case, where this all my Selenium scripts will be executed.
Your voice is not clear. It's very low. Can you just repeat that?
So in this case, if I want to put my Selenium test cases, so can I put in somewhere and I can call those scripts to the pod?
It's you would integrate it within the CI/CD pattern. There is nothing like you will keep it separate. You will integrate all your CI/CD, your Selenium test cases within this task. When you are creating a Selenium task, when I go ahead and say add and say Selenium, when I add this Selenium task, when I say add, which I will not add it now. So when I say add, here is where you will point to that project, your Selenium project. What am I doing here in my test assemblies? I am pointing to my project. Which project? All the DLLs which have test in it. What am I doing here? Build. I am pointing to a solution. In the same way, if you have a Selenium solution, you will point to your solution inside your task, and that will take care of going ahead and calling your test cases and building it using your web drivers, your Chrome web driver or Mozilla web driver. So that is how you will do it. You will integrate it within here, within this task. Got it? So that is what we will do. Is there anything else? So that is what I will do in my real-time scenario whenever I want to integrate. So coming back to our test cases, these are normal test cases. These are not Selenium test cases. I'm just pointing to my unit test cases, and where were we? We were speaking about this guy. So whatever is the test dot, I'm just using all those things in my configuration. So where should I search? In my default working directory. That is what I'm saying. Everything is default here. So I'm pointing to the cloud. Any settings file you have, because test cases usually come with settings file. If you have any settings file, you can go ahead and browse your settings file and drop it here. And override any test parameters. If at all you are familiar with test cases, you can override your run test parameters. That is what you will do here. Run parallel test cases on multi-core machines. Then you will just check this checkbox. And run test in isolation. Essentially, don't worry about the CI/CD pipeline. Just run it in isolation. That is when I'll go ahead and check this checkbox. Code coverage enabled, the most important step, wherein I will understand whether code coverage has been done and what is the percentage of code coverage which has been done inside my project. That is where I will go ahead and enable that checkbox. Then you have collect diagnostics. So again, collecting the logged files. That is what you are seeing here. Don't get confused with diagnostic in case of catastrophic failures. All of this is just what I am saying. Collect the log files, nothing else. They could easily say that. I don't know why they just complicate things. So next thing, collect process dump and attach it to the test run report. Whenever there is a about, I am saying go ahead and correct the process dump. Process dump is pretty huge. For the present process which is running, give me the dump of the present process. When will I need the dump of the present process? If at all there is an error which has occurred, that is when I need the dump of the current process. Without any error occurring, I will not require the dump of my process. So that's why I'll just ignore it. I will not check it by default. Only on about I'll do it. I will never say always. Why will I say always? If I say always, then it will take more time. My CI/CD will take more time because every time it is collecting the process time. What is the process done? The number of processes which are running your build. All of that processes are splitting out some of the other information. You are collecting all this information and dumping it in a big file. That is what I call it as a process dump. And that is what is given to you. And then is it useful if everything goes fine? Will I ever look at the process dump? I don't care about the process dump if everything goes fine. When will I care about process dump? Whenever something fails. That is when I'll go ahead and look at my process dump. So it makes sense that I'll get hold of the process dump only if there is a abort or if there is a failure. That is what I'm saying there. Only if there is a abort, then only go ahead and use the process dump. Rerun failed test cases. So if at all there are 100 test cases and 10 test cases are failed, if at all I just want to be sure that the failure is actually real. Sometimes for memory issues or whatever, some test cases even though they can run fine, because of memory constraints or some other constraints, they will fail. It would not be actual failure. If I rerun them, they will run successfully. So if you are working, if you have worked with any of the testing frameworks like MS unit test cases or X unit or any other unit test case frameworks, you could have seen this behavior. Many a times it will pass, but sometimes a test case will fail. If I just reset everything and rerun the test case, it will pass. When will I do this kind of a scenario? Whenever I'm sure that there can be some memory issues, I will check that flag. saying that rerun my failed test cases, because sometimes the failed test cases will pass because of memory constraint. It would have failed. It will pass again. So that is when I'll say that flag. What are the other settings which we have? Based on number of tests and agents. So I'm just batching the tests. It is essentially an internal thing. I will batch 2-3 test cases and run them simultaneously. That is what is called as batching. So depending upon the number of test cases and number of agents, it will take care of itself. Azure will do the job for me. I'll just leave it by default. Number of tests and agent, depending upon whatever is available, go ahead and execute it in that way. That is what I'm saying inside batch tests. And what should be the batch size? Batch essentially is if at all I have not able to hear me. Are you able to hear me now? Am I audible now? I'm just speaking. Am I audible now? Is it audible? My voice is audible, or should I drop and reconnect?
Yeah, for me it is audible.
I'm just using the same microphone, and it is connected. You're able to hear me now? Lakshmi Narayana? Okay, Prashant is able to hear me. What about Lakshmi Narayana? You're able to hear me? It is not able to hear me, is it? I'm just speaking now. So can you hear me, Lakshmi Narayana? I'm speaking continuously.
Yes, yes. Now I am able to hear you. Before it got
Okay.
disconnected.
Oh, is it okay? So just carrying on. I just came from somewhere. Yeah. What is the batch size? So essentially, if at all you have 100 use cases, the Azure environment, depending upon how many cores it has and what is its agent, the Azure environment would think that it would process the test cases in 10 batch size. That is essentially, it will bundle 100 test cases in 10 batch sizes. So it will take 10 cases at a time, and it will start processing it parallelly. Then it will take the next 10 and it will start processing parallelly. Sometimes it will take 8, sometimes it will take 50. Who is determining it? What am I saying? Automatically determine the batch size. I'm throwing the responsibility on Azure portal. So Azure will take care of that responsibility. If I want to take care of it, I can specify my own batch size. I'll tell to Azure that don't use more than 10, don't use more than 20. I will tell that to Azure without me saying the batch size. By default, it will take whatever it determines. It all is depending upon its decision. The algorithm is intelligent, and it will take its own decision, and it will execute the test cases. That is what it will do. Replicate tests instead of distributing when multiple agents are used in a job. Um, we will not use multiple agents so frequently, so we'll just ignore this scenario. We'll only use one agent most of the times. What is reporting options? Test run title. So whatever is the title of the test run, specify that. That is what I'm saying here. Just give me a minute. Yeah, I'm back. So essentially, we were here reporting options. So whenever you are reporting about your test cases, how should you report it? Upload test attachments is the default thing. It will go ahead and upload all the test attachments which are to do with the test cases. Control options. Anything which I want to enable. Enabled by default, that is you can cancel it. That is what is the default option. Run the task. I said this would be everywhere. So only when all the previous tasks are run, I'll just leave it as is. And output variables. If at all you have any output variables which you are splitting out, that is when you would use your output variable. Coming to publish symbols. Whenever you want to go ahead and publish your output to a particular path, that is where you will give your publish symbol thing, and you are saying this is where I want to publish. I want to take the thing from here, and I want to publish it to build configuration. That is what I'm saying here. So I will go ahead and publish it to that particular location. Once you're done with your symbols path, these two are same, symbols path and artifact. That's when you would go ahead and publish your artifact in a particular directory. If you want your what you asked in your question, that if I want to deploy it in my shared folder, yeah, you can deploy it in your shared folder, and this is where you will be giving the path for the shared folder inside this path to publish. What is the artifact name that you want to give? That is what you are given here. By default, it is drop. You can rename it to whatever you want. And publish location, you can have Azure pipelines or TFS. You can have any one, and you can go ahead and publish your pipeline.
Abdul, here versions and all.
I already have seen this. Even if the previous tasks have failed, go ahead and do it. This is what we are seeing here. Until now, we were seeing only this. Artifact, it is a little bit different. It can be there even though your application has failed. For the artifact, Lakshmi Narayana, tell me.
Yeah, Abdul, here the build versions and all, how it will take automatically, or how it will.
It will take automatically. But even if you want to regulate the build version, then you just this one. I can regulate the build version here. Whatever is the build version which needs to be taken, because I'll create the build version when I've checked in, and my build versions are automatically versioned. Whenever I keep on checking in, they are automatically done by my Visual Studio and my Azure DevOps page. That is what I'll rely on. I'll not tamper on the
Specific,
default version. Yeah.
if I want to give specific version set, how it will be? Is it possible?
If it is possible, I think you need to give it here a specific version. Then you need to go ahead and give it here. I did folder. Let me just check that. Let's check that. Yeah, it will give it here. So by default, it will start from 1000 because I gave it like this, and this is what is checked in, and this is what it will start from. If you want a specific build number, edit this and check in the file. Once you edit this, your assembly version will change and your build version will change. This is where you do it. Got it?
Yeah.
So it all depends upon you. If at all you want to change it here. Then it will. If you give 7.0.000, it will take from 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, unless it moves again to 8, and you can change it to 8 from here. So it all depends upon you. You can play around with it. So you will dictate it from Visual Studio. You will not dictate it here. So that's your. We are still seeing something here. So I can go ahead and publish it. Okay. And what else can I do? Okay. So artifact publish location. I can publish it to Azure pipeline, or I can go ahead and publish it to TFS. It's up to me. Handle options the same. Enabled, and even if the previous step has been failed. Output variables, any output variables which you want to split out from this build configuration. That's pretty much about your tasks. All of these tasks will take care of building my solution and publishing it to a particular location. All of that are done by these tasks. Going to variables. There are multiple variables which are there here. Build platform. You have seen that here. Display build platform. You see that build platform here? Yeah, Lakshman. Tell me.
In the variable section, so there is any CPU release and debug, right? So actually, what is the difference between that release and debug?
Essentially, this is what is the difference. Whenever you are building it, you can build it either in the debug version or in the release version. Debug version will have your PDB files, your debug files. Do you need the debug files in production? Debug files are only needed in my development environment. Because I'm developing it, I will be debugging it. So that is where I'll use the debug version. Release version would be much more lightweight. I would be using release version whenever I'm going ahead and releasing it and deploying it to production. It will not have all the noise, all the extra files. Your PDBs will not be there. Your extra files which are generated during the debug world will not be there. It will be pretty lightweight than your debug version. That's the difference between debug and release. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So just moving ahead. So usually you will never do the debug. It will 100%, not even 99%. It will 100% be released. Even though you are deploying it to QA or dev or PPE, it will always be release version. You will not ever deploy a debug version onto your environments. You will always deploy the release version onto your environments. So build platform, as we just saw, your build platform. So I'm just saying, what is the build platform? It is CPU. So if at all you want to change it to something else, you can change it here. If at all you want to add more variables, like you said, I want to add a shared file location. This is where you will add the shared file location variable. Wherever your shared folder is there, you will point to the shared folder from here, and you will use that variable here instead of staging. Instead of it going ahead and deploying it in staging environment, you would be going ahead and giving your own shared file location. That is what you will be doing inside this pipeline variable, within your variable. You can have groups. You can create groups of variables. Why will I create groups? QA will have a different QA environment will have a different settings, and PPE will have a different setting. Staging will have a different settings. There, I will go ahead and create groups so that I need not copy paste it every time. I'll have different groups created depending upon what is my deployment environment. I'll point to that group. That is where I'll create the variable groups. Anything which I want to highlight here? There are many predefined variables which are present inside your build file. So agent.os architecture will give me the architecture on which the agent is running. What is the working folder on which the agent is running? Agent.working folder. That will give me that access. What is my staging directory? You have to say build.artifact staging directory. All of these variables are by default available to me in this environment. If I want to use one variable or the other, this is where you have your variables coming. There are multiple variables. Just do a quick read on these things because it's a pretty long list. System variables is a very long list. So you have quite a bit of variables which you can use when you are working in a Azure DevOps environment. You can access those variables and start working on those variables. These uh, uh, these are some of the built-in variables which we saw, wherein you can go ahead and click on the predefined variables and just have a look at those variables. Just look at the definitions and what they do, so that you can have an idea about it. Coming to CI, what are we saying here? Go ahead and do CI on my so and so branch. So this is where I'll start saying it, and schedule your CI. Usually, it will be scheduled for each check-in. If you don't want to be done with each check-in, and also with each check-in, if you also want it to be running each day or each night, it is up to you. Then you will configure it here. You will configure a schedule. What will the schedule do? It will go ahead and allow me to set whatever are the days on which I want the CI pipeline to be triggering the build. Your continuous integration CD to be triggering the build. This is where I'll be going ahead and specifying it. The number of days, at what time, what is the time format, on which branch. Mostly, as I said, it would be on the master branch. But if you have any other branch, you can configure it. Not an issue. All your branches are available here. It's a global thing. It is somehow not allowing me to click. So all your branches are available inside this branch specification. I'll just delete it. I don't want it. That is how you can go ahead and schedule your build. This is what is done by even Jenkins or any of the other DevOps environment tools. They can allow you to go ahead and incorporate CI/CD pipeline in their environment in the same way by scheduling it. I can schedule and I can forget about it. As a good thing, technical lead, I can go ahead and schedule it and forget about it. Build completion. Only when some other build succeeds, then only trigger this build. So if I have a requirement of that sort, that is when I'll use the build completion option. If my build has to happen only after some other build is done, that is when I'll go ahead and do the build completion option. It will wait for other builds to complete. Once that is completed, it will trigger and it would start showing that up inside the build completion, and then my current build can go ahead and start building the code. So those are few of the triggers, the schedule trigger and the build completion trigger, which are present inside the trigger. What are the other properties you have? Build timeout in minutes. So if at all there is a build and it is not building the file, building the project right away, it is taking more than 10 minutes, sometimes half an hour. It is the build time is just going up. Where you have this kind of a scenario, then you can go ahead and configure your timeout. After 60 seconds, it will automatically cancel it. So that is what I'm saying. Cancel the build job after 60 seconds. So once 60 seconds is done, or 60 minutes is done, if at all the build is still not succeeded even after 60 minutes, then it would go ahead and cancel your build. Whenever you want to cancel the build, sometimes it would not cancel right away. It will take some time before it cancels. I am saying if it takes more than 5 minutes when it is canceling a build, then go ahead and kill the process. That is what I am saying in this setting. Build cancel timeout. those are few of the things which are present inside your options. Let me just see something else which is present. So this is one good feature which you have here. Create a work item on failure. So what will I do? Whenever there is a failure in the build, I have some specialist guys in my team. They will not be build engineers for sure. They would be DevOps engineers. So I will be having some of the DevOps engineers who are pretty smart at build and release. So whenever there is a problem in the build and release, I want to create a work item. We have seen what a work item is. User story, ethic, task, all of those are work items, right? So I want to create a work item. Let us say it would be a task. It would not be anything else. It would be a task. So I will create a task, or not I, it is Azure. Azure will go ahead and create a task and send a mail to these guys saying that a build has been failed and you need to go ahead and work on the build. Okay, is it not clear? Okay, let me just speak from here. I hope it should be clear now. So that is what I'll do in my create work item. I'll go ahead and create a new work item whenever there is a build failure which is happening, and it would trigger create a work item and it would go ahead and trigger a mail to that guy, because whenever there is a work item created, there would be a mail which would be triggered to the guy. So automatically you can go ahead and create work items and trigger mails to the people who are involved in build and release process. Just a minute. Yeah. So that's what is your create item on failure. So these are few of the options. Anything else which I want to say? Nothing else. It's fine. Retention. Once the build succeeds, how many days should I keep it? That is what is the question asked by Azure. How many days should I keep it? This is where you can configure minimum to keep 10 minutes. And how many days should you keep it for the next 30 days? That is what I'm dictating to the Azure. So 10 good builds have to be retained, and they have to be retained for 30 days. More than 10, I am asking Azure to go ahead and delete it. I don't care, because only the last 10 is what I'm interested in. That is what I'll be telling in the settings of the retention node. History. Who did what? Because we did nothing of this build. It is a clean sheet. Anyone can trigger the build from your Azure portal. So whenever someone is triggering the build, then you should have a history of who are all the people who are triggering the builds. All the history is present here. Whoever is the user who is triggering the build, you would get his name charted in this chart. That's pretty much about your different nodes which you have inside your Azure DevOps portal. If I say save and queue, it will ask me what is the agent pool that we want. Look at the agent pools which I have. I can go ahead and use the Mac agent pool, which is a pretty famous operating system, your Apple Mac, or you can use hosted 2017, which is what I'll use, because what is my project built on top of? I have built it on top of Visual Studio 2017. That is what I want my agent to be. So I'll say Visual Studio 2017. Or if at all you have any other kinds of hosting environments, then you have all those options. Most of the options are covered by Azure DevOps Tool. So if I just say save and queue, it will go ahead and start building. Let us see how it goes. I got an agent. Let me go on mute. Once it succeeds, we'll again start speaking. it is still connecting to the agent. So let it connect and let it start building. It will take another couple of minutes. Let it build and then we will speak about the steps. Yeah, tell me, Lakshmana.
Abdul, here you are installing the agent, right? So,
I
I
did
mean,
not install the agent. This is a pre-built agent. I did not install the agent.
okay, so if you're connecting agent means you are connecting with Visual Studio, which you are developing the code.
Right. This is already given to me by Azure portal. One is you can have your own agent. One is the agent which is given by Azure. I'm using the agent given by Azure. I'm not using my own agent.
Okay. So if I am developing in 2015 means, can I give that 2015 here?
Yeah, you can use the 2015 agent here. All your agents, which are famous like 15, 12, 13, all are present in Visual Studio Azure. But when you're connecting, why is it busy? There are so many thousands of people who are connecting across the globe, and everyone would be using one or the other agent. So it would take some time to get hold of agents because we are not using private agents, right? We are using public agents. So it would take some time. Once it connects, it will start building.
So this is different from build agent and this agent, right?
What is the other agent? What is it? Build agent and
Build agent in the sense as if I want to run a job or trigger a job or deploy, so we need to create one more agent in that specific destination server like that, right?
right. All of that is not required now. You can just have this because there is no destination server, right? What is our destination? Our destination is Azure. So you don't have a destination server. You would be directly deploying it into Azure web app or Kubernetes or Docker and stuff. So there is no destination server for us. If at all you're deploying it in VM, yeah, you have a destination server. Apart from that, you don't have any destination server.
Okay, so in that in that scenario, so any VM other stuff we need to install the agent in that VM also, right?
It's not required because once you, I'll come to that in the releases of why is it not required.
Oh,
So agent need
okay,
not be deployed inside your VM. I can have some configuration which I deploy in the VM.
okay.
I'll show you that. It has initialized.
Mm-hmm.
Now it will do many tasks. All the tasks will be executed. What we saw there. And if everything goes fine, it will be a success. If it fails, then let us see.
Abdul, one more small question.
Yeah, tell me.
So here, whatever my Visual Studio is doing, I mean, we're calling Visual Studio build only here now. So what is the difference between Visual Studio and this Azure CI/CD? So I can do it. What you are doing here, I can do it in my Visual Studio also, right?
Right. How can you do this on each check-in by using Visual Studio? Because there are 10 developers in your team. How can you trigger this build for each of the developer check-in inside Visual Studio? Can you do that? You can do it locally for your build, for your check-in. Can you do that for all the 10 developers?
Yes, yes, it's not. Yeah.
So you can do it. So that is where is your build pipeline, which will watch your master branch or develop branch or whatever branch. Once any of your 10 developers check in, then it will trigger and it will do all these steps. You can't do it with Visual Studio. You're thinking local box, just about yourself. If you work in a team, you can't do that with Visual Studio. You need to come to cloud. Only cloud can be helping you do that, or any other DevOps environment like Jenkins and other DevOps environments. Okay, so coming to what has happened here, it went ahead and executed all of my steps. and you can just see what are the things which it did. I don't care about most of the things which it did. You could go ahead and initialize your job, check out all your code. You need to check out the code, right? You'll get all the code. You're installing NuGet, then you're restoring NuGet, then you're building your solution. Then you're building your solution. So that's all what I do when I'm building my solution. We're building your solution there. Searching for test assemblies, and it did not get it. So when it did not get something, what did it do? It went ahead and gave me a warning saying that test cases are not there in our project. Do we have test cases in our project? No. That is what we will do next. So we will build our own test cases and check in that file and get it into master so that it will go ahead and give me the test cases built and not give me this one. That is what we'll do next. Then it goes ahead and publishes it to my default publishing folder. So it is going ahead and publishing it in my VM in this location, in so and so location. Then you are going ahead and publishing your artifact, that is your package. Artifact is your package. Your checkout job is done, finishing some job, removing any processes or objects or garbage, collecting a few things and stuff, and then you are reporting your build status, that everything went fine or something crashed. Those are the steps which you do when you actually go ahead and build your Azure pipeline. So everything went fine. Now if I just click on builds, that's what happened. And let me just look at summary. Yeah. So when you look at the summary, it will clearly tell you where is the drop location. That's my drop location. That is why it is giving me the zip. If I download this zip and go to that folder and say when zip extract, if you look at the drop, what is this? It is your project, and there are many packages files which it has created internally. We need not care about what are the packages files. We're just looking at how the drop folder will look like. Let me unzip that as well. This will have all my DLL files. If I go to the content, it will have all my DLL files. Pretty huge, pretty long path which it created. But if you just look at this, it has all the DLL files which I want to be built, to be deployed in my production environment. The views are there. Controllers, there are no controllers. Why are the controllers not there? Controllers will be present inside the bin, inside the DLL files. Controllers will not be there as a folder. Only your static files would be there as folders. You will not have controllers as folder. So that is what you have here. You have all the folders which are required for you to see in production. So that's your drop file and how it looks like. So this is where you have published your drop file. You can either look at it that way, or I can directly look at the contents here itself. What we did there is what we are doing here. I'm going ahead and looking at the content. I cannot look at the zip file. That is where I need to download the zip file. So this is what I need to do. So anything else which I want to highlight here? That's about it. Can you not hear me? I'm still speaking at the same pace. Can you hear me? Are you able to hear me now? I'm just speaking at the same pace.
Yes, now. Yes, now we're able.
Okay. So essentially, yeah, yeah. Essentially, that is what is my drop location and where I have my file located. This is where I pull and create my release file. Now the build is done. The next part is release. I need to go ahead and pull the drop location, the file, the package at my drop location, and deploy it in my Azure service. Whatever is the Azure service, is it a web app or a cloud service or Kubernetes or a Docker, whatever it is. So we need to pull it from here and create a release folder. That is what we will do tomorrow. Not only release, we'll also have one warning which we need to avoid, which is your test cases warning. We will avoid this warning as well and see that we don't get this warning tomorrow. We'll resolve this guy and then we will move to the release folder. Then we'll carry on our discussion from there. So I can start it now. So any questions you have, which I need to address?
Yeah, Abdul.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm trying to install TFS 2018. So it's showing like Azure DevOps on-prem. So is that on-prem one we are discussing now?
Azure
So I can
DevOps.
install
There is
on-prem
nothing.
version.
There is nothing like on-prem. We are in cloud. We are not declaring. We are not decide. We are not working on any on-prem version. We are working on the cloud. Azure DevOps only works with cloud, and we are looking at the cloud
So we don't
solution.
have on-prem version for
No, we
this.
don't have. No, we don't have any on-prem version for this. DevOps is all cloud. It is not like on-prem. You need to work with TFS. TFS is the
Oh,
on-prem solution for your Visual Studio DevOps. It also works with DevOps, but it will not be a cloud solution. What we are looking at is a cloud solution. We are not looking at the TFS DevOps solution. There is nothing
oh,
like Azure DevOps on-prem. It is TFS on-prem.
okay. No, actually, I tried to download TFS 2018, but it's showing Azure DevOps on-prem like that.
Okay, okay. There might be some problem with it, but it is TFS. It's not Azure DevOps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Thank you so much.
Uh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Then we'll just close for the day and we'll meet again tomorrow, same time.